Hi everyone, welcome back to another Cut Above with Chris. This will be my last recorded shave of the year 2019. I'm going to be using my favourite products that I've received this year and got this year, and also just my favourite products, my number one products just in general. Now I just want to give a quick mention to Gillette, because this product really sort of changed my mind on Gillette a bit in terms of the actual stuff that they make. And it's Gillette Pure Shave Cream. It lathers great, it's slick, it's protective, it does exactly what you want, it's got a great scent, and it's a very good set of ingredients for a Gillette mass produced product. So I was really happy when they released that. They've also released the Heritage Razor, which I won't be getting. I'm not really that interested in it. I'm not a big fan of vintage stuff. Even though that's not vintage, it still looks kind of vintage to me, but I think Gillette missed the boat with that one. I think they should have went either with one of their old school adjustables, or even make it look like an old school Gillette Tech or something like that. You know, go with Gillette, don't take a modern take on it. It didn't really work, I don't think. It's got a lot of praise, apparently it shaves very nicely, but anyway, let's get stuck in. My number one soap of the year, as you saw from the picture, is the Swedish Witch. This one is made by Sarah Lundström out of Sweden. I've used a lot of very good shaving products over the last 3 years, since June 2016 when I started traditional wet shaving this way. I've lost count of the amount of artisans and soaps and creams and you name it. I've used a lot. I do have some very new stuff on the way, but as it stands right now, 2019 will finish with the Shaving Witch. Now, very minimalist ingredients, as you can see down the bottom here. Rosemary spice. The scent on it is nice, very light. It is sort of geared towards sensitive skin, I would say. It's a vegetal or a vegan base as well, which is great. It works for everyone. But the lather from it is just absolutely off the charts, brilliant in every aspect. The brush of choice for today, and the brush of choice for the year, as you've seen from the photograph, goes to my That Darn Raw brush. Now this handle alone would most likely win it anyway, it would be up there, but with this 28mm Rhodium silver tip knot, it just takes top spot comfortably in my den. Now, I never thought I would see the day that I would have a natural hair brush that for me would sort of give me more enjoyment than a synthetic. Now I can't produce a lather as good with this. I can create a great lather with this knot. It's not as good as a synthetic knot, but it's still brilliant. And overall, the feel, the look, the hand, just everything about this brush just drives me nuts. I love it. I find it very hard to pick up different brushes in the den now. That's why I've just purged a few onto the Aussie Wet Shaving Enablement TOS over here in Australia. There is the soap. It is pretty hard. It's got a beautiful scent on it, it really has. And let's just load up. So this will be my third time using this soap, and I've just got nothing but nice things to say about it. It's thick, dense, slick, creamy, glossy, protective. It's got a great scent. It's all natural essential oils. I think other than three, I think it's water, soy wax, water, potassium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide. They're the only ingredients that aren't organic. Everything else in this soap is certified organic. I'm going to get a real good load on this. I'm going to really smash this lather out the park today. Just going to see if I think I've got enough in there now. I've probably got enough in there for 13 shaves, but that's what it looks like when it's loaded. 28mm of absolutely stunning Srđan Daničić knot making. So Rhodium knots, if you want to get yourself a Rhodium knot, I can tell you right now there's an 8+ week wait for a Rhodium knot from Srđan. He is over on Instagram. You can find him on Facebook at Instagram if you search up Rhodium knots. If you send him a message, let him know what you want, or if you've got a handle in mind you want to send him the handle, by all means do so, because his knots are incredible, his custom service is incredible, and if anything should happen to your knot that's not through neglect or anything like that, he'll cover it, don't worry. The guy's customer service is excellent. He's got knots travelling all over the world. You probably seen a lot of them in the Alpha shaving handles. They're just beautiful. Just going to scoop that a little bit on there. Let's paint this on. Now, the Swedish Witch. I've just reminded myself, I've actually contacted them. I meant to buy a tub of soap from it, but I bloody forgot. That's just, I don't know why I've only remembered now. Sarah Lundstrom, based out of Sweden. Like I say, I've never used this until it was sent over from No1 of Shaving Butcher on YouTube. If you haven't checked him out, he's a funny guy. Dry sense of humour. Baldy bloke just like me. Speaks very good English, even though his first language I believe would be Swedish. But he speaks English pretty much all the time anyway, I think. In fact, most Swedes speak English as a second language and speak it better than most Scots do. Just going to paint some water in. Now, I've only got 24 hours growth. I did have a shave yesterday. I used these products yesterday as well. So it's not a great amount of time to dry this brush out, but I do dry it near the window with the ducted aircon on, and it blows the breeze through the window, really gushes past, so it really dries the knot out quickly, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was bone dry by the time I've re-wet it again. So the Swedish Witch. Now, she will be opening up an online store in hopefully January, but at this stage it's projected for the first quarter of 2020. She will be offering, it'll be a basic website, it won't be anything too flash, it will just basically allow you to buy her soaps, her shaving soaps. Now, I think they're going to come in at 2.8 ounces. I think it was 80 grams, I can't remember what she said, but the reason she's doing that is to try and keep down the cost for the postage costs. But she's basically going to offer these soaps in puck form. And the reason behind that is she's extremely environmentally friendly. She's got an extremely environmentally friendly outlook. So she doesn't like using plastic tubs. She's just trying to keep the cost down on shipping, probably the cost down on actually purchasing tubs and the amount of process that goes through, and the cost of it as well, and having to buy stock and things. So that's how she's going to do it. I wish her all the best. I'll certainly be buying her soaps when they become available on the website. You can still get them at the moment if you do message her through Facebook. I don't know how much she's actually got made up at the moment or not, but she's a very small, well, I believe a very small sort of artisan at the moment. I do believe, however, that given the quality of this soap, that it won't be long before she's a world-renowned brand. Honestly, it's so good. The post-shave is phenomenal. Now, it's extremely similar, or should I say the Secret Artisan is extremely similar to this in terms of ingredients and also performance. In fact, the only difference is one ingredient actually that I've noticed, or that I've been made aware of, is different. Look at the splay on that. I'm not going to add any more water now because it doesn't need it. There's enough water in the base of the knot. Look at that go. Got the shakes today. Now, of course, I've got far too much soap on my face, but I'm just going to keep lathering it because look at it go. The knot is not shedding at all. Massive, massive bonus. Now, I want to give a shout out to a brush which sort of pissed me off in the end, but the Simpsons Chubby 2. Now, I'll be honest with you, until I got that brush, or until that brush died and got thrown out, it was in line for top brush of the year if it wasn't shedding. I'll be honest with you. The Chubby 2 knot that was in that brush was absolutely beautiful. It wasn't as good as this, but it was very good. Now, my experience of that brush wasn't great. Other people have had better experiences, of course, which is great, and I'm glad they did, because to be fair, had I had that experience that a lot of people still get from Simpsons brushes, it was a phenomenal knot, and I just want to give them a shout out, because at the end of the day, I get a dud. Look at that. It's the best soap base I've ever used. Hands down, it's not even close. Honestly, it is so good. It's better than anything else I've used by, not just by that amount, it's quite considerable. The only one that I would say is actually reasonably close would actually probably be the Secret Artisan, which really surprised me that second time, but this is just incredible lather. It's so easy to work with. Look at that. And it'll take, honestly, it'll take so much more water than it's already in it, but that is just absolutely off the charts brilliant. I love it, absolutely love it. I love the scent. It's not a strong scent, but I enjoy it. It's a very sort of, it's obviously herbally type scent, but it's just phenomenal. This is going to be a long video, so I do apologise already in advance. All my videos are long anyway. The Carve Christopher Bradley razor in aluminium. Now, the Carve Christopher Bradley razor entered my den early 2018. We're now at the end of 2019. I think it was early 2018, was it? Have I had that for over a year? Do you know what, in all honesty, I'm not sure. Did I get it this year? I don't know. I think it was this year. It might have been last year. The years are just blending into one. I think it was actually 2018. This was released in, I think, September this year. I think it was September. All aluminium, exact same dimensions as the stainless and the brass Carve. However, this one for me just shaves better. I control the pressure 100%. There's no weight in this razor, so I'm pushing and pulling off depending whether it's up against the grain, cross grain, on my head, behind my head, it doesn't matter. It's just easier for me to use. I find it much better and it gives me a better shave. It's not a different feel really in essence, the shave. Very simple, it's pretty much identical in shave to the brass and stainless because the dimensions are identical, but it's just a better shaver for me. I prefer lighter razors. Right, my blade of choice for the year, my #1 blade in the den is the Gillette Super Stainless spoiler, which comes like this. Vintage blades, they're hard to get hold of, but you still can get them. Now if you have a look on there, on the blade itself, you'll see a few little arrows. Now that looks like rust on there. I think it possibly is a bit of rust, but it looks more like sort of oil. You see that arrows are pointing that way. So if we slide that blade up that way, pops your blade out at the back. Now when you're done, you can pop it in the back there as well. I just pop it straight into my blade bank. In fact, you know what? That is a bit of rust. There's a bit of rust on that blade. Let me just check the edge. I want to make sure the edge is clean. Yeah, the edge looks okay, but there is a bit of discoloration on the actual blade itself. But the blade is fine. I hope it's not degraded. These are obviously, I think these are about 40 years old now, these blades, roughly. Right, into the Carve Christopher Bradley razor. This is the B plate, which is my go-to daily shaver. And with the grain, 24 hours growth, with the best soap of the year, the best soap I've ever used. And here we go. I've just had a shower, And I've been using, I mean, the other products that I really want to give a shout out to is Codex products. Really good quality beauty products. I only use the Super Skin Food or the Skin Superfood and the bar soap, and I also use the exfoliating face wash or the wash for the shower. Right, I'm going to rinse the sink out. The water was quite warm there actually. It's a cold water shave today as well, but the water's sort of lukewarm, to be honest. It's not cold at all. And yeah, it's an off the chart slickness, just incredible residual slickness. Now I have to be honest and say I did get a bit excited about this soap when I first used it. However, the excitement hasn't waned at all. It is there in the same amount of strength it was the first time I used this soap. Even the post-shave of my hands, just from that there, is so moisturised. There we go, do the old scoop on the chin. Let you see this. Absolutely superb. It's just so good. And if you haven't used it before and you can get some, honestly snap people's hands off for it because it is worth every cent. I'm amazed that people that have used this don't rate it high. Shaving Butcher, who sent me this, uses it and thinks it's great. I think it's exceptionally outstanding. That's how good it is. It is to my software what my Carve is to my hardware. The best of the best, comfortably. Just enjoying the shave. I can't, it's really, there's not much to be said. You can see that lather coming out of the brush. Still super dense. It's one of those soaps as well. It smells like a sort of 3 out of the tub, but it actually goes up to about a 4 on the face. It's got good scent strength. It's not massive, but it's very noticeable on your face. On a head shave, not so much, but when it's right under my nose I can smell it. And there's enough going on in there with the rosemary spice that it's dynamic enough that I'm getting a different whiff of it all the time. It's reactivating. Right, we'll just touch up around the lips. I get zero reaction from this soap. Wow, what a shave. What a shave to finish off 2019. It's funny how this camera, that's bright red in the camera, but it's actually quite, it's almost like not maroon, I thought it sort of is. It's like a dark blood red, but it goes bright red in the camera. What a shave. Just exceptional. That is what's left in the brush. In fact, let's squeeze it out and have a look at it. I don't normally do this. There's how much lather's left in there. So much lather left. And that is just stunning lather. So slick. I know a lot of guys wash on the face, heavy shaves, and there's a few others. But the shave's enough for me, don't need any more. I'm going to rinse this brush out now. Quite an easy brush to rinse out, surprisingly. I thought being so dense and quite a large knot and having so much soap through it, that it would really I would struggle to get the soap out of it. But I don't. And we're back. Now I am going to just dry the brush. You've seen the knot, you've seen it wet, you've seen what it looks like, you've seen the gel tips. It's just a stunning knot, but I am going to give it the old towel flick, as you can see over here. Now, I don't lose any hairs on this knot from doing this. I don't lose any on the Shave Mac, the West Coast Shaving Silver Tip, any of my bow hair brushes. The only brushes that fell apart when I did this was the Morrison Fondren 27mm Blonde Badger, which is now with Carl over at Brown Man Shaves and doesn't shed anymore, thankfully, and he loves that brush. It was a beautiful knot, but it was just a shedder for me. The Simpson was the same. Simpson just lost so many hairs doing this and just using it in general. To be honest, it wasn't really just the toweling that did the trouble, did the trick. But and that is it done. I am going to finish off with a product which is my favourite post-shave product on the market, hands down once again. But beforehand I just want to explain how good this feels like. It doesn't need this post-shave product, but I am going to use it today. But my skin feels incredibly amazing, like velvet, very moisturised though. You can almost hear the squeak, which you probably can. That's just the moisture that's in there. It feels incredible. I don't get any even the redness on my neck. There's a little bit here and there. I think that was actually maybe a little weaker, but like very minimal. And I've shaved my neck 3 times there, and it's just brilliant soap. The brush, the soap, the razor, the blade, everything are just superb. But I am going to finish off with a product which I highly recommend. I've used quite a bit of this now, and it is Moyle Grooming Frankenlime, Frosted Frankenlime, Mental Aid. Sean Mullen over at Moyle Grooming, based out of Canada. I was very, very lucky. My wife and I were very lucky to meet Sean and his wife when we were over there this year, 2019. And he's just a all-round top bloke and makes an amazing product. He made this product for himself because he was sick of mediocre products, and it's really, really good. So all you really need is this 1, 2, 3 little splashes. Oh, well, hardly any sting. In fact, I barely felt that go on there. That's testament to the soap and the razor today. Oh, and that lime, Mental Aid lime. Now Sean puts an absolutely perfect amount of menthol on here. It is cool. I say it's cool, it's cold. It does last a little bit. It'll probably stay on there for about 10-15 minutes. It does catch your eyes a little bit, but it's not enough that it feels irritating to the skin. There is the ingredients list there from Sean. Now, if you want to grab this stuff, grab it as soon as you can, because wherever you can get this from, I don't know whether you can still get it from Top of the Chain or West Coast Shaving or Magard. This line, this one, Marlow Wood's still available I think, but the other 3, Heliopteris, Wildflowers and Marlow Wood, I think are all finishing, and he's going to be doing more sort of collaborations with people and having specific scents. So if you want to grab some, grab it. The lime one is phenomenal. I think Grooming Department did a collaboration with him on this one, made a lime scented soap to match Frankenlime. It's a stunning, stunning splash, and honestly the post shave feel now with, it's lovely and cold, with the Swedish Witch and Moyle Grooming is off the charts. And just in case you think I'm pronouncing it wrong, it's definitely pronounced Moyle. So if you're going, it's Mayo, it's not Mayo, it's Moyle. It is an Irish word. I'm not Irish, I'm Scottish, just in case you thought that as well. My number 1 soap of 2019 goes to the Swedish Witch shaving soap. Not so much the scent, but I love the scent. It is a very nice scent, but this soap is phenomenal, and I can't talk highly enough about it. It's a very firm soap as well. It's vegetal, vegan based. It's very, very hard, like almost triple milled hard. It feels almost like I was just going to say it feels like it's glycerin based, but there's no glycerin in it. It is just a phenomenal soap. I don't know how she's made it. I don't know anything about soaps, to be honest. I'm just a user. So, but it is off the charts, incredibly good. Number 1 brush this year, 2019, goes to my That Darn Rob brush, which was re-knotted. I had a 26mm Fanturian in here. When I took the knot out, I de-knotted it myself using the steam method. You can find that on Facebook, on YouTube, sorry. When I sent it over to Serjan to have this knot placed in, he sent me a message saying, I've got good news and bad news. What do you want first? And I said, well, give me the bad news. I thought something had happened to the handle. But the bad news was that it's actually a 28mm hole. The actual hole that was drilled in here is 28mm. And Rob puts a 26mm knot in there. It makes it fan out more, makes it look more. So this is a 28mm. So the downside was it was a 28mm hole, but the upside was I got a 28mm knot, but it cost more. That was the other downside. So $160 for a 28mm Australian dollars for a 28mm hand tied rhodium knot. This one right here, silver tip, is $160 hand tied and placed into your handle. And if you're in Australia, that includes your shipping back to you as well, or your shipping to you if you're making the whole brush, $160. If you want a 26mm, it's $130. That includes your shipping in Australia, but outside of Australia you pay your extra postage. But what an incredible, I mean, look at the bloom on that. And this is super dense. Like, I mean, it's super dense. Oh, it smells incredible as well. Now it does go through quite a rigorous cleaning regime as well. When you get your knot, it's not going to stink a badger, which is nice. I can't remember what he uses for it, but what a stunning brush. And it feels incredible on your skin to use as well. Very soft, but it's got that, still got that real scrub that you get from the badger without any scritch or scratch or uncomfortableness to it. The razor of choice today, and the razor of choice pretty much for the last few months, has been my Carve Christopher Bradley razor in aluminium. It's just a stunning razor, and it's just, they're worth every penny. If you can get your hands on one, grab it, snap people's arms off of them, because for me it just shaves better than the stainless and the brass. I'm not saying don't buy the stainless or the brass if that's what you're into. I use them, they're great. I'm moving the brass out of the den altogether pretty much because I'm not a fan of brass. But the stainless steel one is a beautiful razor to use. It shaves exactly the same, it's just heavier. You've got to control the weight more. I'm not very good at that. That's my downfall when it comes to heavy razors. My number one blade of the year, Gillette Super Stainless, the spoiler. These are vintage blades. Just absolutely stunning. They're smooth, they're sharp, they last a very, very long time. And I finished off today with Moyle Grooming Frosted Frankenline, which for my money is pretty much the best splash on the market. And with that, I hope you guys go into 2020 in good spirits. I hope you've had a relatively good year. Mine has been very, very topsy-turvy, very up and down, breaking my arm in September, which still hasn't fully healed yet. Hopefully when I go to the hospital on January 21st, I'll get some good news and I can get back to work. It's funny when you're not working and you actually miss it. I don't know whether that's a working class thing, but it's, I don't know what it is. It's a horrible thing when you just get nothing to do, sort of thing. I can't drive anywhere, so I can't just jump in the car and go somewhere. It's been hard, and it's certainly financially been very, very difficult. I haven't had a wage for going on, I think, about 11 weeks. Not 11 weeks. No, it's way more than that, isn't it? Shit. How many weeks have I been off now? 6, 12, 18, oh, I've been nearly 17 weeks, 16 weeks. I haven't had a wage, so it's been hard, it's been tough going, but we'll get there. We've not got, in terms of difficulties, my life is extremely easy and pure luxury compared to many, many people on earth. So I always look at the bright side when it comes to these sort of things, and hopefully 2020 brings me a little bit of a better year for myself, my family, and hopefully we can move on with it. But other than that, you guys stay safe, drive safe, and for Christ's sake, on New Year's Eve, don't drink and drive. I'll catch you guys next time in 2020. Cheers.